Hello, welcome to Lovely's Crafting Lodge. Today I am going over how to make an altered book. And the first thing you need is a book. I have a, I don't know if this is an actual Reader's Digest or it's like a Reader's Digest. It's like a composition book. Not composition, but collection. It's like a collection of stories. So the first thing you do is grab whatever book you're wanting to alter. You're going to be ripping pages out, so I suggest having a book that does not have individual signatures, but that it's glued in. That'll make it easier to rip the pages without having them come loose. I'm just taking a wipe and just wiping it down. Just remember that different wipes are going to react to different books in different ways. So if you're not wanting to alter the look of the book at all, you want to do a little test square on it before you wipe down the whole thing. I don't really care because I will work with anything. I just want to get it clean. Like, this has been handled a lot, and I don't care if it changes the colors or smears the paint or the words or anything. I'll work with it. I just want it to be clean. So like you can see, it's dirty. So just getting it cleaned here. Sorry, let's try to stay on camera here. And if there's paint, or like this looks like paint right here, if there's paint on it and it won't come off, again, I'll just work with it. Like, I'm not going for so much the look of it rather than just knowing that it's clean. So that's what I'm going for here. So just cleaning this down here, and I will wipe the edges of the pages gently, not as firm as I am here, but you'll be covering, well, you can do it however you want. This is just how I like to do it. I like to cover all the words on the pages. So it doesn't matter what the stories are or what they're about. I cover them. So that's that. I use dyed paper, other book pages, scrapbook paper, a variety of papers, just like any junk journal. So you can get those ready if you'd like. But the first thing we're going to do is let it dry for a second here, and since it's clean, we're good to go. Let's see here. So I like to leave the first few pages as they are, not ripping any out. So once I start, maybe I'll just show you one that's in progress. I have a few that are in progress. So here's one that's in progress, okay? So I have, it's thin, okay, so I've ripped out pages, and I've started adding scrapbook pages to it. And then there's a break, and then scrapbook page, and then a break, because these are going to be glued together. They have little journal cards that I'll put inside. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. This is a very thick book, so I'm going to be taking out 8 to 10 pages. I'm probably going to do 10. So I'll leave the first few pages, and then you can get your bone folder and you can crease it just to establish where you're going to be ripping. I like to give like a little space in there. You don't have to. If they don't rip out perfectly, they don't rip out perfectly. It's fine. It's an altered book. We're just having fun, okay? So take out 10 pages. So we have our first few pages. We're going to take out 10 pages. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. See, it didn't rip perfect. I can go back in right here and rip that little piece off, or I could just leave it. 5, 6, 7, 8. 9, 10. Now here's your first decision. What are you going to do with the first pages? Are you going to make a diagonal pocket? Are we going to make a straight pocket? Are we going to make like a tiered pocket? So to explain that a little bit better, I have a visual here. So this is another book that I'm working on. I'm working on several of them at a time. So that's kind of what's going on here. So here is a pocket, okay? And I have some tags in here. So we could fold it down like this, right? Or we could fold it. I don't think this book has any diagonal folds. I didn't. Yes, there is one. So here's a diagonal fold right here. We can fold it on the diagonal and then put, you know, tags in there. Or we can just glue it, you know, page back to back and have a tag go in at the top. So it comes all the way out. So that's your first choice. There's different types of pockets that you can make. I'm sure there's other ones, but those are just the 3 that I like to make. So I'll set our little reference book over here for now. So the first couple ones, I just want to put regular, I'm just going to put a hole at the top, glue them together. So I'm just leaving one space in between. Some people use like sticky notes. So they'll put like a sticky note on the page, or they'll paper clip it or something like that. I can tell, because I'm not perfect, I can tell that I've ripped out pages. I can look at the spine and see where I've ripped pages, so I don't need to mark it. Again, you just do what you want. So then this is the front of your page, this is the middle where the tag's going to go, and this is the back of your page, so it's going to be glued together like this. So that means that this next page, you're not ripping anything, and then you're going to rip out 10. And then we're going to decide what kind of pocket this is going to be. So I hope that is smooth for you. If you accidentally rip out 8, that's okay. If you accidentally rip out 12, that's okay. It's not a perfect thing. You can pre-count your pages and do all this and measuring and whatnot. I just don't work like that. I go more of like a feel. Does it feel good? Is it a good feel? Does the book have a good feel? And like this one right here, I was going to rip it out, but I'm just going to go ahead and leave it actually. I keep my pulled out book pages as well. So for other projects, obviously, you can use them for tags, tucks, jelly printing, and then so this is the back of the page, and this is the front of the next page. We'll go ahead and do this as a pocket, as a fold down pocket like this. Whatever this is called, a half pocket. Sorry, I don't know these technical terms, but we'll do it as a half pocket like that. And then we're going to do our 10. So the reason that we're tearing out the pages is we're thinning down the book. Because if we were just to add scrapbook paper and dyed pages and everything to this book, it would be flat. It would be wide open. So that wouldn't be usable. So that's why we are tearing it down so it's usable. And then that's the back of the page and the front of the next page. And the front of the next page, we're going to do a diagonal here and a diagonal here. And you can rip out pages in between each of these if you want, but I don't want to. I'm just doing it the way I want. There's diagonal there, and then I'm going to rip out my pages here. And again, if you lose count of how many you tore out, you get interrupted, you're making a video, whatever. Don't worry about it, just have fun. And if your book is an undesirable topic, again, I'm covering all my words, so it doesn't really matter what the book is about. I know some of these Reader's Digest are from, well, I know they're from an earlier time in life where they talked about certain things and used certain words that are just undesirable at this time. So don't let that hinder you in using an old book or even a new book that might have, you know, like a topic that you're not really crazy about. So I go more for the size. Sometimes I'll go for the cover, like if the cover looks really cool, but it's more the size than anything. I like to use scrapbook paper. I like to use 12 by 12 scrapbook paper. So I'll cut it down. Usually the pages that I cut down are 5 by 8. So that works pretty good for me. And then we'll do another one. And then we'll do a little pocket here. And this is just like roughing it. It's just like giving it its base, if you will. I always thought it would be really fun to make an altered book that was just the base had been constructed for someone already, and then all they had to do was go in and decorate it. I think that would be so cool. Because some people don't like doing this part. They don't like choosing the book. They don't like tearing the pages. They don't like, you know, deciding the pockets, and they want it all to be a certain way in particular. But I don't know, if you just kind of go with it, I think it always turns out pretty cool. But works up pretty fast. It's fun. I would say it's a mindless activity. Some people might not think so. I've made several of these. I don't want to make it sound like I've made a lot, but I'd say I've probably made 15 of these. So it is kind of mindless. The first time you do it, you feel like you have to pay like mega attention, and then you realize how it's just like crafting anything. You just kind of work with what you have. You know, if you make a mistake, you just kind of work with it. And I know that some artists only tear out like maybe 5 or 6 pages. I like to add tags and things like that to my book so they get kind of thick. So I like them to be, when I tear out the pages, I like to be on the more on the scarce side. And then I can bulk it up with things that I add, because I don't just add one piece of paper per page. I'll add multiple layers of pages, so it does get kind of thick. And you can see my ripping here is like not perfect, and so again, you can go back and you can like pull the spine open and really like get in there and pull it out. You could use tweezers even, or pliers, but I don't know. I'm okay with it. I like it. I like it just however it is. So we are about 1/3 of the way done with this tearing of the book already. So it works up pretty fast. And when you kind of get in the groove of it, like I'm working on 8 of them collectively right now. So it's just fun. You just kind of get in the groove and you're tearing and you're tearing and you're tearing, and you're like, oh, I've got 8 books, I should start decorating them. And then you, well, I pick a paper collection that I like or a theme, and then I just start decorating, doing the base pages, the backgrounds and stuff. So I'm going to do a side pocket. And tear out our next pages here. So you can kind of see how it's just a pattern that you go on. There are, I guess, more advanced pocket techniques, but these are just the ones that I like to use. Let's get that big chunky piece out. So I was talking about how I select my papers, and so I have trouble using single-sided single-sided scrapbook paper. I always want to do something on the back. It's hard for me just to leave a truly blank page. I do, but it's hard. So this, if you have a single-sided scrapbook collection or pad that you've been struggling to use but you really like, this could be a really good use for it because everything is glued down, so you have that, you don't have that backside, that plain backside exposed. So just kind of creasing because I'm getting some pretty rough tears. And again, I do like to use my book pages for other projects, so I don't want them completely destroyed. I like them to be usable still. A lot of people use them as glue pages. I don't really use them as glue pages. Maybe I just don't glue like other people do. Sorry, I'm gonna have to bring this close to me to get a good grip on it. Yeah, but you can do whatever you want with them. You can throw them away. I think it's fun to decoupage on them. Let's see what else I've done. I've glued a couple of them together and then cut out tags out of them, like large tags. And then I've cut like 3 tags onto one page. Made pockets out of them, like free-floating pockets that you paper clip into your journals, or just little, I have a store, so I send a free gift with every purchase. So I have like little freestanding pockets that I'll fill up with ephemera. So there's that too. So we'll go ahead and do a diagonal, a double diagonal like I did on the other one. So we got that there, and then fold this here, and we got this here. And then we'll remove our pages here. Almost done. Went and got some supplies from the back to school sales. I don't know if anybody shops the back to school sales, but I do a lot of dyeing paper. That's what my store is, dyed paper and ephemera. So I got a lot of stuff from there. I got some index cards, and I've been thinking about running them through an embossing machine. I'm just not sure if I should dye them first and then run them through the embossing machine, or I should emboss them first and then dye them. Because I feel like the dye will, the moisture will release whatever I did with the embossing. So dyeing for me is a lot of fun because it's just an experimentation. Everything is just an experiment. And I just like to play. It's just a lot of fun. I have, my partner built me custom drying racks. So I don't use an oven and I don't iron my papers, however they are flat. So that's always interesting to see how it plays out. This book has some illustrations in it. You could leave these pages if you wanted. You don't have to go on the, remove 10 pages on everything. It's up to you. I like to leave some pages like you saw on the front, but I do the same thing on the back. I like to leave some pages on the back. So we got 5 of those, and we got 5 more coming out. And there's that. And we'll just pull this through. I'll go back and pull those out with maybe some tweezers. Alright, so then we got another 2 there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's probably because I'm pulling them out by 5s and not singularly or even in double. It's got to be why it's turning out like this. But just trying to show you guys the process, the whole process, the whole making of the process. Maybe it's because it's towards the back of the book. I'm not really sure. Okay, there's another one. Let's see if I could fold the book on its, I could kind of crease it a little bit better. what's this called? Like when you go reverse of the way it's supposed to be. I don't know what that's called. Yeah, look how clean that is compared to that. Oh well. It's all fixable. As Marie for Leo's mother says, it's all figure-outable. So I really like her. I like her things that she talks about. And really, it's just paper. We're just playing. We're just having fun, so what's the big deal? And this is just how I do it. This isn't like the right or the wrong way. I imagine there's lots of much better artists out there with different techniques to share. So I think one thing when you're learning like how to make an altered book or a junk journal or whatever you're working on, whatever art project you're working on, is to not just watch one person or one video, but to just like kind of do a little bit of market research and poke around and see what different things people say, because you'll hear different things, you'll hear different techniques, and you'll come up with kind of a blend of whatever you hear, and then that's the way that you are going to do it. And then as you actually get your hands in and are working on the project, you'll come up with different things that you like or don't like about it. Like doing those half pockets or whatever, I found that I don't like doing them on the left side. I only like doing them on the right side. I don't like the way, however I do it is just not, like it doesn't lay the way that I want it to. So is there a technique that I need to learn? Maybe, but I just choose not to do it. Alright, now we're getting kind of to the back couple pages here. I'm probably only going to take out, this will be the last set that I take out. Yep. And if it's not exactly 10, you don't need to be, you don't have to be upset about it. Or if it's more than 10, you don't have to be upset about it. You can just eyeball it. And then even when you're doing the folding of the pages or covering them, you can add washi tape on the seam, or whatever it is that you want. So there's our extra pages, and this is our book after we've ripped it down. And that's all I have for part 1, so we will come back with part 2 and we'll be working on that, and I'll see you all back here next time at Lovely's Crafting Lodge.